Hello and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a show where we demystify technology for you. You know, your smartphones, your mobile lifestyle gadgets, your laptops. And today, we're going to demystify a technology I think I'm pretty astounded at over the last few years because it's become mass market. And that is
GPS.
GPS, Global Positioning System. You know, satellites in the sky that help you navigate your way through the world.
Do we have tinfoil here somewhere? Because I think...
You want to protect your head.
Wait, oh, it's not going to be that kind of satellite.
Won't be.
episode, is it? Okay,
can't
good.
see you. Can't see you do the bad things that you do.
Good.
Yeah. So we know a while back we did a how GPS works, and so you can actually go back into our archives and check that out. Where I think we used watermelons or something.
Melons and icing and
all kinds of nasty things like
was
that.
it tomatoes or something for satellites? I forget.
Could
Yeah.
be. But anyway, it's worth updating this episode because, of course, things have changed in the world of GPS. No longer is it just a dash-mounted device in your car or an integrated thing into an option in your luxury vehicle. It is, it's on mobile phones. It's on all kinds of other gadgets and that sort of thing. And there are different technologies that allow the positioning to occur. So we thought we'd go through the various pieces, help you understand that. So when you do go out and buy a GPS, that you know the pitfalls of the various technologies and what works and what doesn't. So.
Yes.
All right, so exciting episode coming up, so we hope you enjoy it. So let's take a break, and when we come back, GPS Demystified, I guess part 2. Before we get started, of course, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Hover.com, a sister company here at Two Cows. But what a great one. These guys offer you domains and they help you to use the domains effectively. So you want a .com or a .ca or a .net or a .tv or a .whatever, these guys will provide it to you for a really affordable price. Great service. All kinds of extended services. You can use Vanity Email as an add-on. You can point it to other domains. You can do all kinds of really cool stuff. And so you and I are both customers, of course.
We are.
We like them a lot. The gang that actually answers the phone sits outside of my office. And I'm good friends with the general manager. They come highly recommended. They are good people, they are trustworthy, and you'll really enjoy using their service. Not like the other crazy competitors out there. You can't get hold of them, bad service, rock bottom prices perhaps, but you know what? You pay for what you get, really, in that world. So if you want a zero hassle experience, go on over to Hover.com. I'm going to give you 10% off here with this coupon to get you started.
Excellent.
All right, good. So let's get in with GPS Demystified Part 2, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be fair enough to call it Part 2?
I guess so.
For the
We'll cover
extended edition, or?
Yeah, we'll cover a little bit of the basics here again. Just
bring people
things
up
that
to
we go
speed.
less melons and less icing all over the place, though. I think.
All right, we'll do that. So let's start with GPS. What is GPS?
GPS, as you mentioned off the top, is Global Positioning System. So back in the day, the military put up a bunch of satellites all around the world. There was 33 of them, I believe. And they put them up there and basically sent signals down so that people on the ground, at that point military personnel, could look up and see these satellites and locate themselves on the surface of the Earth by looking up to see which of the 3 or 4 satellites they could find and triangulating their position using those satellites and their signal strengths to figure out where they are on the surface of the Earth.
Right. And in the mid-'80s, I don't know if you remember this, Sean, but Korea Airlines flight 007 actually was flying over Japan and actually part of Russian territory or Soviet Union territory and got shot down by the Soviet Air Force. Mm-hmm. And because back in the day, they weren't using GPS as a navigation system for commercial airlines or for private individuals. It was a military technology only. Mm-hmm. And Ronald Reagan decided to open up technology to civil aviation and that sort of thing, as well as, in the end, consumers, to allow everybody to use it to avert that. Because had they been reporting in a much more timely way and been tracking it in a real-time way, that upset wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and because of that, obviously it had an immediate benefit for commercial fleets, so you could track where your trucks were, and you could track where you are, make sure that you're not straying over Russian territory. But obviously, once they got that into the hands of average consumers as well, that opened up an entire new world of applications.
That's right, absolutely. So, and here in the last few years, of course, we've had handheld devices under $200 that will allow you to do perfect navigation. So it's been a real revolution, I think, in terms of a piece of technology that was military technology and now is available to everybody here. Mm-hmm. So there are 3 different technologies I think we want to talk about today. In terms of how we use it. Let's start with. Let's go through each one of them.
All right.
So starting with GPS.
GPS
right, requires a chipset inside of a device.
Mm-hmm.
and it, as you said, it tracks signals from 3 or 4 satellites from that constellation, right, and allows you to position yourself within about 10 meters of your actual physical position on the planet. If you get a lock on 3, then it'll give you position. If you lock on 4, it'll actually give you position plus your altitude as well.
Right.
Which is really cool. Now that requires a chipset, right?
That requires an actual GPS hardware inside whatever device you're going to have, and it needs an antenna and a clear view of the sky.
Right.
So that is the one thing about that. So looking at something that actually needs to look up at the sky, you need to see the sky. So inside this building right here where we've got a roof, not so good.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I suppose, I was in Boston with one of these units, in a rental car, and, you're going through tunnels, and all of a sudden,
Right.
GPS goes out, right? It
Right.
can't see the sky, it can't get the signal from the satellite, so therefore it's useless.
Yeah, although you're in the tunnel, and as soon as you emerge from the tunnel, it'll find you again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously there's these little kinks, but the big problem is when you're, like, we use it for navigation from getting from point A to point B. So if I need directions somewhere, and I'm downtown New York, for example, and there's these tall buildings everywhere I go, and we can't see a clear view of the sky, and all the signals are ricocheting around the buildings, and obviously becoming more erroneous as they lose their timing, then that becomes a problem. You can't navigate under those conditions anymore.
That's right. They call them urban canyons.
Urban canyons or concrete canyons
Concrete
or
canyons,
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's the standard GPS technology that would be found in most handheld devices that you would acquire. It really is the basis for GPS, and anything else is going to be additive to that.
Right.
So let's talk about assisted GPS, or AGPS.
All right.
So that's a technology, of course, that was introduced initially in perhaps cell phones, I would imagine.
Right. So back in the day, you had cell phones that sported GPS, but they weren't actually GPS hardware, because back in the day, you weren't able to put all of the little bits of hardware into phones that you wanted, because that would bulk them up. GPS modules tended to be a lot bigger, so they actually used something called assisted GPS way back in the day that looked at the towers around. So the cell phone towers sort of keep track of where you are as a cell phone user, because it needs to know which tower is going to handle the call that you're making, and then switch off from tower to tower. So they're already triangulating your position that way. So they actually have found a way to use that to figure out where you are geographically speaking, because they know where the towers are.
Right.
And then the application on the phone will say, okay, the towers are here, therefore I must be here because the signal strengths are this.
That would make a lot of sense, right? So it's triangulation, but it's using terrestrial signals as opposed to satellite signals.
Right. And there's another version called Wi-Fi positioning that makes use of Wi-Fi networks, not quite as rock solid as the cell phone networks, because they tend to be, hey, be quiet, we're working here. So they tend to be a little bit more ephemeral, let's say. So networks come and go, and they tend to have shorter range than the cell phone networks.
Right.
So anyways, that's how it started anyways, with the cell phone networks only. Then as GPS modules started to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they started to get put into things like, say, your iPhone or the Android, then you've actually got an actual hardware GPS module in here that can look at the sky, but it's still got the ability to look at the cell phone network as well. So now AGPS is a combination of the two, and the benefit of that is not only can it locate you based on the satellites, but using the cell phone network, it can locate you that way, and it gives you a faster fix too.
Right, yeah, because sometimes the acquisition of the actual signal, it takes a while for the calculation to occur and to choose which satellite and which one makes the most sense and which one is available above the horizon and that sort of thing. So that fix can take up to 30 seconds to a couple of minutes in some cases.
Yeah, in this case, you can get it in a matter of just seconds. And not only that, in addition to the faster location, it also gives you the ability to get more precision as well. So using the two different networks, it can locate you to, in some cases, within inches of where you are. So
well, that would make sense, right? Because you're cross-referencing against two different systems.
Right.
That, right? Well, and that...
Traffic delay on your route is now 10 minutes. New arrival time 1:03 p.m. There is another route that is 7 minutes faster. Do you want to take this route?
okay, that's an extra feature that we'll talk about later on in
It
this.
is. That's right. That's true.
Please repeat.
Shut up.
That was actually two features that we'll talk about later on. All right, so.
All right, good.
If your command is not correctly recognized, please say back.
Go away.
Staying on current route.
Why are we always fighting with our technology these days?
Drives me crazy.
All right, I guess we're navigating.
Where's that
somewhere.
hammer you had before?
Oh, I don't have the hammer here anymore. I have to send this back.
Okay. So, so with three different technologies, so GPS, AGPS, and Wi-Fi positioning.
Right.
Right. All used augmentatively or for different purposes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the most common combination these days, especially when you're using cell phones, it will be the combination of GPS plus assisted GPS. So, and then assisted basically is that. It's assisting your regular GPS.
Good. Well, let's talk about then the different uses of this, and we'll plug the various technologies that you're going to find in the devices that we talk about here. So, starting with navigation.
Okay. So navigation, we'll use this little device here, the TomTom Go 2450TM. And it is essentially a dedicated device for navigation. So obviously when you have your cell phone, it can do other things like play Angry Birds. You're not playing Angry Birds on this. You're just navigating from place to place. Yeah. If they have extra things in here, it is the ability to, say, act as a speakerphone for your cell phone. Yeah. It is the ability to navigate using live traffic. Now that happens on the cell phones as well. And it has the ability to do voice activation. And inside a car, I'm still not sold on voice commands on GPS because your car is generally pretty loud and it can't understand what you're saying typically. Yeah. So now, that said, it's a dedicated device. You can stick it away in your glove compartment. It will plug into your dashboard using the connector that you get with it. And it generally comes with a mounting clip as well. So we've got this as well here that you put that into and then stick it to your wall using, or your windshield using the suction cup or onto your dashboard. So pretty much a one-case device. This is all it does. In some cases, it can play multimedia playback and maybe take photographs, but those devices are not as common.
Yeah, it's sort of like they've just looked for premium features to throw into it, but ultimately it's a navigation device. It takes you from point A to point B and it gets you there with as little gram as possible.
Right.
And that's the primary use for that device.
That is the primary use. And these ones right here, we should just note, we can unplug it here, and it does have battery backup, so you can take it off-roading for a little bit, but in general, the battery on these isn't great, so you're not going to be carrying this for the next 8 hours while you go hiking in the Rockies or anything like that.
No, I agree.
Typically speaking. So.
Now, they run, they used to kick in around $500 or so. Now you can get them as low as $200 or so, less than $200.
Yeah, depending on the screen size and the other features that are included.
Right, and then in the more premium versions, $300, $400 somewhere in there, that sort of thing. So,
right.
Affordable. It's going to go in your car. It's a nice little feature, and it doesn't cost you $5,000 as an add-on for your car when you buy it.
Right.
And also, you can update the maps in most cases as well.
Yeah, so a lot of them have secure digital card slots on the side that you can update the maps. Some of them you can do it via the USB cable. But yeah, you generally, and that's one thing we should note about these devices, that when you buy a device like this, it's typically designed for your region. So if you buy it in North America, you're not going to be able to just take it over to Europe and get the maps over there.
Yeah. Well, unless
instantly.
you have to look on the package to make sure that it has the European maps.
Yeah.
Which sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
It just depends. You have to double check.
Yeah, because anything you add like that adds extra memory, which will add to the cost of it. So a lot of them keep the price down just by having your local area, like all of the U.S. Some of them in the U.S. don't even have Canada, so make sure you know what you're getting into. All right.
All right, so then the next sort of category of GPS device that you're going to buy is designed for applications, and you're going to find this primarily, I guess, on your smartphone.
On your smartphone. So the nice thing about having a smartphone in your pocket over here is the fact that you have a full-fledged computer that's capable of doing a lot of different things. Now, the fact that these manufacturers have put the GPS module straight into the phones these days means that they can actually function as GPS devices.
Right.
Now, a lot of these phones do have map functionality. So let's talk about the iPhone specifically because we have that. So when you have the iPhone, you have on the main screen typically, you have the Maps application up here, and it gives you a little bit of geolocation, so it can find out where you are. Press the geolocate button down here, and it'll actually start to locate you. So there we go. That's where we are. And now the good thing is you can get directions using that geolocation button and say go to this address, but it's not going to give you turn-by-turn navigation, which is what a lot of people want when they're using navigation. They don't just want to see the route ahead of time and then not ever hear from the GPS again. They want it to say, okay, turn left in 300 meters.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, you don't memorize the entire route before you go.
No.
You're too busy doing other things like turning on your radio and talking to the people in the car. So it's like, oh crap, I missed my turn.
Exactly.
So that's free, but you can download other things as well. So
on the Android phone, they actually have turn-by-turn.
Yeah. So on the Android phone, they do have turn-by-turn using something called navigation. So that's a very nice bonus for the Android.
And it's free.
Space. And it is free.
Yeah, that's good.
So with other phones, you can download a specific application. So in this case, we have the TomTom application here as well. And there we go. So it's pretty much the same way that you would have on your GPS device here, except it's on the screen here. It can be spun in both directions here, depending on how you want to use it. Now,
And all the major manufacturers are doing this. Garmin's doing it. TomTom's doing it. All the big guys are doing it.
yeah, and then there's some other ones that have come along, like Copilot, and you've got
Navigon,
one
which I
called
love.
Navigon.
Navigon's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the manufacturers of these hardwares are seeing the future and realizing, okay, maybe there's not so much life left in the hardware anymore,
Yeah.
unless they're looking for very specific extra features that these things can provide.
Yeah. I think the package I bought was $70, and then there's an add-on for real-time traffic,
Right.
which gives you live reporting of what's ahead, whether you're going to run into a roadblock, it'll steer you around obstacles, things like that
Right.
when it occurs.
And the TomTom application I have here is $59.99, and then it's $20 a year for the live traffic. So it's a similar sort of function there as well. So, but a lot less than the cost of an actual dedicated hardware unit.
Right. So two areas though that beyond the basic GPS functionality on your phone is things like these sort of geolocation aware apps. Yelp, for example, is a really good one where it'll tell you what's around you in terms of stores or restaurants or bars or whatever it is. The Foursquare, of course, is all about checking in at places and knowing where you are. And the next generation of shopping is all going to be along these lines too, where you can actually, it'll say, please tell me where you are. Can I know where you are? And then offer you offers around you and that sort of thing. So we'll see a whole new generation of that moving forward in smartphones over the next couple of years.
Hey, there's a coupon today at that restaurant just right over there. Why don't you go?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see a whole new generation of that. So the application-based, you can double this as your GPS. I got rid of my proprietary version. My iPhone is now my GPS in my car. I mount it, I plug it in, and use Navigon to navigate as I go.
Yeah. So now the downside of this, of course, is obviously it's the device you have with you everywhere you go, but GPS uses a lot of your battery. So
Yes.
if you use this and mount it in your car, so again, you can have a little mounting device here.
Love this. This is the
for
Griffin mount, by the way. I love this.
The Griffin window seat, and that actually can be used for almost any phone. You can slide it up and down, so you can actually put a Palm Pre in there if
Yeah.
you want, or the Android phone. So it's very flexible.
really good device.
And it also comes with a little microphone that you can clip into the top of your phone as well. So you can use this for that, but then you need power. So you need some sort of device like this for powering it up. So it's less to buy the software than it is to buy a hardware device, but then you have to buy a bunch of extra stuff like this. Again, here we have something from TomTom that's dedicated for the iPhone. It connects in here and then has the power connector here on this side, and then a little place to connect, say, your speakers. So
Right.
if you want to connect into your sound system.
Oh, cool.
So again, I think this is like $100 or less, and then you've got this clip here, like this is
70
about
or-
$50, and then you can spend another $30 on a power solution from Griffin. So you're dumping an extra $50 to $100 on this anyhow. So maybe if you go for the rock bottom hardware GPS, it might be even up, but it is potentially a bit more flexible this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. And then finally, other applications. I think we're going to see, geocaching, and there's the handheld devices that
Yes.
like games, I guess, things like that, right?
Yeah, so geocaching is something that's starting to grow in popularity. It is a little activity where people can go to a website that has a bunch of what they call geocaches. They list where they are using your longitude and latitude, and then your job is to go to that longitude and latitude. And obviously, if you're using one of these things, you can sort of get part of the way there using that, but often these things are located off the beaten track. So you'd park in the parking lot and then walk through a field and then look for it under a bridge somewhere, which you're not going to be able to drive to it using turn-by-turn navigation. So there are some specific geocaching devices that you can get, some GPSs that are designed for that activity. You can do it with, say, your iPhone as well in that case.
Right.
So yeah, that is one activity you can do.
Cool. And then anything final before we go to the break? About was there some sort of geo situation with music and games?
Well, that was the one game there, and there's some other things, like say you've got something like Shazam, the application on there that can sort of locate you in space and time as well.
Right.
So
Just
that sort of thing.
geo-aware type of application.
Geo-aware applications and other leisure activities. So.
Cool. Okay, good. All right. Well, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got clip of the week and your pictures. That's after this. Welcome back to Lab Rats. So this is the part of the show where we show you a clip from one of the other shows in butterscotch.com. And I know, Andrew, we did a series. We do a series called How Do I? And it kind of shows you how to do stuff with technology. Kind of demystifies it, sort of a live in studio kind of tutorial. I know you do, excuse me, most of them. And we have a series on GPS, right?
Yeah, we did one on GPS, so I did a few different steps, so how to use it on your smartphone, how to use it on a dedicated device, using location-based services. So we talked in broad strokes here about what it is and what it's good for, but this is the nitty-gritty of how to actually use it then.
How do I use it?
Yeah.
How do I use it? That's what's called How Do I. So let's take a look at a 30-second clip of that. When we come back, we've got pictures. That's after this.
Welcome to On Deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List.
Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
Now, the main function of a GPS device is typically to get you from point A to point B. There are a number of extra features that you can find whether you're using a dedicated device or software on the iPhone or Android devices that will help you find other things that you're looking for along the way. The first of these is points of interest, which helps you look for things like gas stations, restaurants, hotels, parking lots, and other such things when you're out and about. So for example, you find yourself pulling into an unfamiliar town that you hadn't originally planned to stop in. It can help you look for a gas station, a hotel to stay the night in, or a restaurant to eat in. And then you can actually use turn-by-turn navigation on the GPS to take you there as well.
So if you want to see the entire episode of that How Do I Use My GPS, zip on over to butterscotch.com. There's how many parts to it?
There are 4 parts to that
Four
one.
parts to that one. Good. So lots of hands-on information there for you. I hope you enjoy that. And now it is picture time.
It is picture time.
So what do we got going today, Mr. Carruthers?
All right, well, first of all, we're going to navigate over to our friends in the Philippines.
Oh.
And this is Jenilyn, who sent this on, and it's her Siamese cat.
She's gorgeous.
And
She has a vision impairment, apparently.
Yes, I remember doing this way back in the day. We gave our cat glasses and gave them a little wig as well. So people,
And you gave him a little wig.
yeah.
Did you call it your girlfriend? Was that your first girlfriend?
No, no, it was not. My first girlfriend was the cat before that. Anyways, the cat had a little piece of fun fur out there. It's just like, why are we talking about that?
I don't know.
Anyways, so
People want to know about your personal life. I don't know. Okay, good.
I
So that was who was
I
that?
was 3. This is from Jenilyn in the Philippines.
Oh,
So,
nice. Well, thank you so much.
There we
And
go.
what's the cat's name? Do we know?
we don't know the cat's name.
Okay. All right.
So send that along whenever you can.
Very good.
Okay, and next up, this is from Matt in the UK, who plays our episodes in an IT group that he does. And this is 3 of the people in the group. This is Nathan, Wasim, and I'm guessing this is Matt on the end as well. So
Very
there we
good.
go. Lab rats on the screen and lab rats in the hand.
Very
That's a
nice.
good combination.
We love it when you guys use our show in educational situations. In fact, there are lots of teachers out there, and you're using this in your classroom. Send us a picture of the class. We'd love to see, how you use it or who's watching it, and give us a little blurb on, what difference we've made in the classroom, that sort of thing. It's one of our favorite things about making this show. So you can, is that it? We have more?
That is it for today.
You can send your pictures to
Navigate over to LabRats by entering it into your GPS and pressing our email address, which is navigation@labrats.tv. It's not easy making these things up
It's
on the
not.
fly.
I know. It's a little art. Okay, good. You could actually use a simpler version of that. We've created a shortcut, which is
Feedback@labrats.tv.
feedback@library.
That's the one, right?
That's the one. There you go. Good. So send us your pictures. Tell us who's in it. Tell us where you're from. And cats, rats, automobiles, whatever it is.
And wigs.
Wigs, too. We like wigs. Well, you
Wigs.
like wigs. I don't. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's a strange thing.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, well, thanks for tuning in this week and pushing play. It'd be foolish for us to be here talking about GPS if you're like, where am I? I should buy a GPS. I wonder if those lab rats guys know anything about that. My name's Andy Walker.
And I'm going to find myself.
He's John Carruthers, and we'll see you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Satellites are frying my brain with the radiation.